station, I think, is that we could respond to the community in terms of what's going on in the event of a real emergency, such as a medevac. We get calls about power lines, road closures. We get school. It's part of our mission to communicate with the community. Particularly lost dogs. I've had those calls, but particularly, in the event of something tragic.
Are you done?
Never done. Yeah.
Can we pass for now?
Please.
Okay, thanks. Just two more things to cover. During the food break, someone came up and talked to me about putting on studio security and equipment. And they're not here, but I think what they're talking about is, I noticed myself too, in the log book, I see so much people coming in, especially on Monday morning, that the studio is unlocked. And it's appeared in the log book quite often. My question is, I'm wondering, do all volunteers know how to alarm and disalarm the alarm system?
Mostly the only people that are supposed to know that is the people that have to go in and the people that exit at the end of the day. But because there have been vacancies, there have been probably a lot of volunteers that weren't exposed to having somebody not be there. But if for Monday morning, I mean, that would be Sadie. And there's been times where I've gone in when Sadie's left her show and marched her out and everything was fine, and still the next morning someone complained about something being there. And part of that issue is we've got Don in, saying if someone's crossing that bridge at night and coming in messing with the studio, and we want to know about it, and we had made other suggestions about trying to find security.
On that point, there's a camera running 24/7 on the driveway and the parking lot. Everybody wants to wait at the camera.
First is that the studio has been clear and fine on Mondays for over a month now. It's been superb. Whoever is doing whatever they were doing doesn't seem to be doing it, or they're just cleaning up after themselves. Either way, I'm happy to have the improvement. And the other is, were any of us ever told there were cameras on the property? Were any of us told that there were cameras on the property?
Oh, I said in a couple of emails that that's what I was doing.
Oh, I'm shocked.
There is well, I don't know why there's, I just had my tires, I had my tires punched out and had to go around to the neighborhood to find out the cameras were on the area. As it turns out, there's 3 cameras just as you walk across the street anywhere here in Guerneville. So I put the camera up there for very specific reasons, and that's at nighttime. But I just, I look at the computer. Computer runs, camera runs, and yes, it's on when you drive in and record your car coming in on night or day.
And while I don't personally have a problem with it, I think that there should be notification.
Yeah.
Here.
I didn't know about it either.
Well, I probably should have told her.
We passed at a past meeting, everyone that was in the room raised their hand about wanting a camera on the studio door. So it's not much difference between the studio door and the bridge. So
This is for the church. This is the camera on the church parking lot. You're coming and going, and that's certainly our right to do so. The camera is recording the traffic coming into the church parking lot.
The issue, Mark, was, yes, we did that, but the volunteers need to know what was done. That's all. So, could you handle that?
Well, I've installed a gate on the bridge too. The children from the school of Mansfield stomp it down. So once the gate is,
Can you make a report to the volunteers about the security and the gate?
Sure.
Please.
Whether or not you know about it or not, now Don's telling you about trying to put a gate on the bridge. One of the things that we have been concerned about, although Don is, he's got his big camper on here, we don't want other campers coming over that bridge.
I've been inspecting the bridge, like shell-shaped. The carpenter ants are pretty much done a number on it.
So the point being is we don't want a whole lot of big vehicles come across it. And the other night, You know, Don's vehicle was there, and we were on our way to Main Street or someplace, and we saw another camper, like, almost getting ready to think that they were going to pull in. It's like, no, 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 please, don't do that. And they decided, oh, well, we'll pull up here on the street, like they usually do in either campers, but we don't want people...
We've had a number of times campers come in late at night and pull in and park and sleep. So the purpose of the gate, you know, is twofold. One is to stop the traffic, the heavy-duty traffic coming over that bridge all the time. And two, provide a level of security for the area. Everybody, you know, the last person out, their only responsibility will be to close the gate. It's open for everybody else. I open it up in the morning early, and well, I will. And the last person out, I imagine Sadie and or the Green Baron, we close the gate as they.
Mike, you had your hand up.
Yeah, there was some controversy about the cameras. Wasn't that one of the issues?
Well, it was about inside. We passed it. We did pass it.
But I'm understanding that that was one of the issues that I remember that was brought up as
The camera issue.
It came up very loud.
right. Megan?
The motion that was passed back when was about getting more information about getting cameras. It wasn't actually to put them up, but I just think that we should.
I don't know. I think I recall that there was an actual approval to go spend money on the cameras.
Yeah, there was.
Excuse me, there was a motion to get a minimum to go, let the church look into, but we wanted feedback from the volunteers. They were okay with a security camera outside from 12 until 7. And that's the only thing that they okayed, and that's the motion that I know of that was passed.
That's why you have minutes at a meeting, and in the minutes should be stated what we voted on.
Right. Okay, the only one other thing on that is there's a new talent, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I have one other request for the new station manager and the KGGV in general, the Guerneville Tonight Show. As everybody knows, we're doing on the 27th, and I'd like to include KGGV as much as possible. That being said, I'd like to be able to get my hands on the merchandise and create a small kiosk out in front or inside the building while the show is going on, in the hopes of selling T-shirts and KGGV, you know, T-shirts, hats, that
You're
sort of
selling
thing.
them, or you're going to need a volunteer, because you're going to...
We're going to need a volunteer.
So can I make a suggestion? Can you get together with Peter about that and possibly put out an email to request volunteers' assistance and input? Because this is the first time I've heard about it.
Yeah, well, we're waiting to talk about it.
We're all inviting you to come to the Guerneville Tonight Show.
Thank you.
Supporting a benefit, supporting the River Coast Children's Services, who also is running the Veterans Hall. We're trying to get the Veterans Hall back up. We are having this event at the Veterans Hall for the River Coast Children's Services, and it's $25, and it's food and drink and entertainment with 14 different acts.
And they can get tickets from...
Tickets from me, and tickets from River Coast Children's Services, and tickets at the Veterans Hall, and tickets at the door.
And tickets across there in Motorhome.
So the KGGV thing, it's like tabling like we do out in front of Safeway. You just set up a table, have all...
Yeah, either inside or outside. I don't know with the weather. I'm sure it'll be fine. If the weather's fine, put them outside. If it's inside,
Just
it's
probably
all
put
winter.
them inside.
There'll be a couple of other small vendors there. Diz and Alan and Brother John will be doing some of their brewing and that sort of thing. But so that was the hope, to get somebody sign me out with the stuff, and I'll be responsible for it and sign it back in when we approve it. And
Thank you.
and get somebody to have it.
One more thing about security and equipment. This brought up. There's a new telephone in the studio. Some people, I was told that there was a message on it that you can turn off the recording part so you can answer it, and then you can turn it back on. I've had no problem with it because I get very few calls. When I get the call, they're supposed to call during the music. Most of my show is music. But I was talking to a volunteer last night, and she even